Good morning, or I should say, good evening, America. Good morning, Asia, Australia. At 9 a.m., I think I saw somebody. And us Europeans, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's only 2 a.m. here, but everything is good. So, we are gonna watch Levy and cheer with him, even if it's late midnight. So I'm streaming from Riga, Latvia, because this is where I live. And listen, I apologize about the small hiccup I had before because the most absolute stupid thing happened. I start a stream and Microsoft Windows decides to run the update of my computer and just shuts down the entire computer. How about that, right? No warning, no nothing. I'm completely ready to start work. Microsoft restarts my entire system. That's it. It's just blank, you know? I was like, oh my goodness. It's just, oh my goodness. Like 15 seconds in, everything is just gone. Okay, you know, I have to confess, this is the first time I'm streaming in the middle of the night, but oh my goodness, it was so bad. It was so embarrassing. So sorry about this, and I'm very happy it happened at the very beginning of the broadcast, and I was able to fix it and create a new event. But we're back. We're back. All right. So what is in store for us today? Because we're back with yet another tournament coverage. Levy plays in New York, round robin tournament. The game will be delayed by 15 minutes. That's why we are starting exactly. Okay, not exactly. I already missed it for like 10 minutes. But we're going to start it like exactly at, what is it, 7 p.m. New York time. Because the game feed I'm getting, it's gonna come in with a 15-minute delay. The chat I'm seeing real time. So this time we have fixed the problem, so to speak. I mean, the last time it was, I believe, when Levy was playing in Spilimbergo, we found a way how to delay the video feed, like only in the final round or so. That was pretty bad. Sorry about that. We're just learning. Levy didn't know that. I didn't know how to delay the video feed. Now it's possible. So there's no need for us to rush. And everything we are going to be seeing on the screen, everything we are going to be analyzing already happened like 15 minutes ago. And this is due to the fair play reasons. I suppose I can talk about it a bit later. Maybe I want to check. Do you see me and hear me just fine? Hope everything is good. Sound delay. Hope there's no sound delay. Everything is good with the sound? The sound delay. There's no sound delay, right? Everything is good. Yeah. I mean, the chat here on YouTube is getting funny. All right, awesome. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can already show you what happened 15 minutes ago. Just a second. Just a second. Here we go. All right, for some reason, why is it doing this? Yeah, so I'm getting the YouTube feed from Levy, but it's a bit laggy. I'm just seeing if I can set it up. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, for some reason, as you can see, this is live video feed, but I will scroll back 15 minutes. Now I don't know why it's buffering. Hope it's gonna work it out. Okay, Yeah, it's pretty slow. Pretty slow. Okay, what? No, 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 no. You're not supposed to. Oh, there you go. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. So, the fourth tournament for Levy ever since he came back to the competitive chess, in case somebody missed, earlier this year in May, our favorite Levy Rosman, also known as Gotham Chess, announced that he will be pursuing the ultimate goal in chess, which is the Grandmaster title. I mean, everybody wants to get it, and of course Levy is no exception. So he is already a very strong player. He is international master. All he needs is like this big, the final step, but it's a huge one. And since May, we have been working together quite a bit. So he already played in 3 tournaments. He played in a tournament in Madrid, which was big news. Probably also eye-openers for many, for people who would say that Levy doesn't have it. Well, apparently he showed everyone that he can do it, because in Madrid he was very close to the GM norm. Unfortunately, in whichever round it was, I think it was round 8, he lost a very painful game, but still gained a bunch of rating points, etc. And I got a pretty respectable finish. Then he played in a IM norm tournament, a closed round robin tournament in New York, and also gained a bunch of rating points. So that was his second tournament. In total of these 2 tournaments, he amassed about 50 rating points. Now he is 2370. This is his ELO rating. Then a couple of weeks ago, he was playing in Italy, Spilimbergo, suffering because of jet lag. Why I'm telling you all of this, so that you understand the background a bit, what's been Levy's journey so far. And in Spilimbergo, it was mainly up and down tournament. He had a rough start. There you go. There you can see Jurabek, Kamrakolov, Levy's opponent approaching the board. I'm gonna try to synchronize the moves on the videos a bit more precisely when it's gonna start, because again we're on a delay, 50-minute delay, as you already saw. There was a live feed. Maybe some of you already could understand what was the plate opening. And this is Levy's 4th tournament. So in the next 5 days, Levy will be playing 9 games in New York City. I know, I'm a European, you have to pardon me. I mean, us Europeans, I have to tell you, dear Americans, we don't really say New York City. For us, it's just New York. At least in Latin language, it's New York, because we don't really recognize New York State. I mean, maybe people don't even know, to be honest. So, okay, New York City. He's not so far from home. And that's why this time he's really well rested. He's well rested, he's ready. And today he faces Jurabek Kamrakolov, the 3-time Uzbekistan champion, the guy who was 2554, highest was his highest rating. I think at some point he moved to USA. I'm not really sure, to be honest, because he also has an older brother, Ibrahim Kamrakolov. By the way, that's a funny story I could tell you a bit later about Ibrahim. I played against him. Yeah, I see there's the first move c4 on the board. Let me see if I can sync the video. Okay. I'm gonna try to sync the video in the best possible way, so I apologize if the start is a bit awkward. Yeah, now it's loading for some reason. Why is it loading again? All right. So before the start of the tournament, obviously we did a very serious preparation, and we checked what all the players are playing, and we had to make a big choice what to play against all the opponents, and against Jurabek we're considering various choices. We're considering to play the ready, we're considering to play the English opening. But where was my video feed? I don't get it. It's very very lagging. All right. So yeah, we're considering what to play against him, and we decided in the end that Levy's gonna play the English opening. As you can see, English opening is on the board, so we decided not to play the ready opening, and mainly Levy was expecting c4 e5. Yeah, by the way, how the coverage is gonna work, that the big screen that I'm using on the left, I'm gonna use for the game analysis, so that there's nobody who is like screaming, what is the current position? What's the current position? Show me the current position. That's the small board with the blue color on the top right. That is always the current live position. Where's my... maybe I can change the... Let me see, what's the settings? I don't get it. Should be working. 15 minutes, scroll back. There's the stair and the soul. Just a sec, let me refresh. Knight f3 and bishop d6. I think we're about here. All right. All right. Right. Now I hope you can see everything pretty clear. Yeah, and as I was saying, we are mainly considering two choices. That Jurapek is going to play e5, because this is what, at the professional level, you're doing when you're preparing for a tournament. You are checking whatever your opponent has played before. And there's this thing, we call it a chess base. There's some other software also available that is used at the professional level. And it gives us a lot of information what might be the first moves from the opponent. Obviously, it doesn't really, how to say, give you guarantees that this is indeed gonna happen, but this is as far as your preparation goes, and you just pray that it's gonna happen. So we had some ideas here in this line. I'm obviously not gonna reveal what they are, but e6, all you need to know that Levy is ready for this, because this is something that Jurabek doesn't quite play all the time. But since he is typically playing the Queen's Gambit declined with e6 and d5, during our preparation we suspected that he might play this. So Levy decided to play knight c3, d5 and e3. Actually, I'm a bit surprised by this move order, because I thought that Levy had decided to play knight f3 and e3, and now he played knight c3, d5 and e3. I mean, we talked about several systems, and it's pretty common for Levy at the last minute, change his mind about something, we already had this in Spilimbergo when I thought, for example, that Levy is going to play in one game the Carrick can advance with bishop f5, and he played c5, and the coach was in the dark. I didn't know it. It just means that he changed his mind at the last minute. So e3, we talk about these systems, but I don't really think it was this particular one. Anyway, so knight f3, and Levy is aiming for just a improvisational game. So he's delaying d4, and there's a good reason why you want to delay d4, because in some lines, let's say if Levy will play d4, black would play a c6, knight f3, bishop d6, bishop d3, knight e7, castles, castles. This is a big theory. That's all you need to know. Yeah, this is a big theory, and there's e4, c takes, e5, etc. So the point of delaying this d4 is that white is getting really tricky, because there are lines when white plays b3, bishop b2, doesn't close this longer diagonal, and then the pawn remains on d2. So Levy played, this bishop d6 is pretty standard move, because bishop d6, c6, knight e7, this is how you want to play it, b3, b6. Yeah. This is not a surprise, because when I was going through Jurabek's games, I told Levy that I've noticed one thing, that Jurabek really likes to play the Queen's Gambit declined, and he likes to play b6 and bishop b7. The only thing we didn't talk about what happens if the bishop is on d6. We talked about the bishop on e7. Let me just show you like a typical position, like bishop e7, b3, b6, and there was this idea that c takes, bishop b2, you get a very nice position. And now the question is, what is the difference after bishop d6? Because normally after bishop d6, black's supposed to play c6, black is supposed to play knight e7, let's say queen c2, and if black plays e5 at some point, takes, and knight b5 is one of the common themes. Right? So you hit the bishop here, you hit the pawn, you open up the c file, and your bishop on b2 is really nice, etc. So that's the idea. And now it's kind of a mix. It's a mix of everything. And that's why I think right now Levy is trying to understand what is the difference here. The bishop is supposed to be on e7, not on d6. So he takes on, I think I saw it, c takes on d5. This is the prep. Let me see if wait, the video is a bit too yeah, the video is a bit too ahead. Second, how do I adjust this? Let me see if I can find a perfect moment to adjust the video so that you are seeing it with the perfect synchronization. Let's wait Jurabek to make a move. I don't think he's going to play knight e5. It just makes no sense here. Come on, Jurabek, make a move so that I can adjust my video. All right. He takes on d5. Something like all right. This is pretty close. Okay. Yeah, so what we discussed during our prep, but that was with the bishop on e7. We discussed here that as soon as black plays b6, you want to include c takes on d5. Why is this? Because after c takes on d5, e takes on d5, black is very much committed with his pawn structure at the queen side. And this means most likely he will play c5. Yes. G3. G3. Okay. This is part of the prep, but with the bishop on e7, not with the bishop on d6. So the big idea is to position the bishop on g2 and apply the pressure on the longer diagonal. Let me just go back here and try to explain why in the Queen's Gambit declined, why black normally, for example, in the Catalan. Let me just show you the classical Catalan. Oh, sorry. So c4, e6, knight f3, e6, g3, bishop e7, castles, castles. Why black plays c6? Do you understand, the viewers? Why black plays c6 in these positions? And only then plays b6 and bishop b7. So the big idea here is that black anticipates c6 and d5. Because now you take with the e-pawn, and then your pawn structure basically gives you a narrow. You have to play towards the king side. So white is playing most like b4, a4, b5, try to create a weakness on c6. And this is very important. So you're trying to create a weakness on c6. That's the big idea. Normally it works better with the bishop on e2, but this is what we call the so-called Caspar structure. Now you understand why black plays usually c6 and only then plays b6, because after c takes on d5, he responds with c takes on d5. Because here in these positions, e takes on d5, I no longer need to play b4, b5, because this, dear viewers, is already a weakness. With me so far? Why I'm saying all of this? Because now, the way they played it out, it's more or less the same position. As you can see, black is not playing c6. This means c takes on d5, e takes on d5 obviously favors black because he gets the perfect Caspar structure. He's going to play most like bishop g4, knight e7, and go for a kingside attack. That's why after b6, now Levy immediately snatches the pawn on d5. So after c takes on d5, let's say e takes on d5, and okay, g3 is a slightly more advanced move. I'm going to talk about it. But let's say white plays something like bishop e2, bishop e7, for example, bishop e2, castles, castles, and we want to exploit this weakness like rook c1 and knight b5, etc. So the entire point is you anticipate c5, now you play d4, and you have a target against these pawns. So if these pawns are here on c6 and b7, you cannot easily target them. With the pawns on b6 and c5, you can target these pawns. And now finally, why the move g3? Because in those lines, for example, black plays bishop b7, here, castles, castles, c5, d4, knight e7, bishop e2, here, takes, you see? The bishop on g2 is applying pressure against the black center. And that's in a nutshell all you need to know. The bishop on e2 would be pretty good, but it's not applying any pressure. The bishop on g2 is not immediately, but there might be moves like knight h4, knight f5, or knight e1, knight e3, knight f4, maybe queen d3, rook d1, rook c1. We call these pawns hanging pawns, and you try to get to them. This is the prep, but again, the prep is with the bishop on e7. So I already got the question a couple of times in the chat. Am I reading the chat? Yes, I am reading the chat. I am reading what you're saying on YouTube. Hello there. I'm reading what you're saying on Twitch. Hello there. By the way, I'm also streaming on my own Twitch channel, which is a small channel. It's irrelevant, but we are streaming right now 3 destinations, 2 Levy's channels on Twitch and YouTube, and also my own Twitch channel. And I'm following the chat. So obviously, from time to time, I will have a look what you say. So all I can ask is, let's keep this as a very friendly environment. We are here to enjoy the game. And also I think it's very important, even though as much we care about Levy, we always respect Levy's opponents. Yeah, they're fighting for themselves. They have their different goals. And of course, we cheer for Levy. We hope that he's going to win, but we always respect the opposition. The requirements for the Grandmaster title. Yeah, this question is coming up all the time. So I'm going to mention it again. You need to get 3 Grandmaster norms and the rating of 2500 ELO. That's it. You do that, you are a Grandmaster. Congratulations. Oh yeah, and then you need to pay a fee to FIDE for confirming the title, but okay, whatever. So you need to get the 3 GM norms. And currently, Levy has no norms. This question also sometimes comes up. It's just so difficult to do it. You need to play at a performance of 2600 ELO. 26, not 25. You need to play at a level 26, which is 100 points above the minimal threshold. So that's why there are these specific tournaments as round robins with GM norms organized, like in New York right now. These tournaments are organized to give a chance for the title seekers as Levy to play and get the GM norm. So why is this? Because when you enter such a tournament, you know if I'm going to get a certain amount of points, I have the GM norm. That's it. No calculation. So here in this tournament, if Levy is going to get 7 points out of 9, he's playing 9 opponents. So 7 points out of 9, doesn't matter how he does it. He wins 7 games, he loses 2. He wins 5 games, makes 4 draws. It doesn't matter. 7 points out of 9, he has the GM norm in this tournament. And that's why the biggest difference is, for example, when you're playing in an open tournament, it's always a gamble. You do not know. How many points do you need? What kind of opponent do you get? You never know. But it is part of FIDE or International Chess Federation's requirements. One of the norms has to come from open tournaments. Yeah, this basically happened a couple of years ago because one of the American young talents, Abhimanyu Mishra, got all of his GM norms in closed round-robin tournaments in Budapest. Yeah, people got unhappy about it. I mean, Abhimanyu was not to blame. He just used the system. And he's a very, very nice guy. But yeah, FIDE felt that the system can be abused. And that's why they introduced this rule that you need to get 1 GM norm from open tournaments. And that's why Levy was playing in Italy. And he's going to keep playing in open tournaments because he needs to get 1 norm from an open tournament. But anyway, now he plays in New York. Yeah, I already see what you're saying there in the chat. It is +5 in 9 rounds. It is difficult. It is difficult. I mean, how can it be easy to get a GM norm? It's never easy. So we have worked very hard. And he feels good. He's playing home. So that's why he has no problems with the energy. Actually, earlier today he texted me that he can't wait for the game to start because according to New York time, it's 7 p.m. and he was waiting for the game entire day. He just wanted to start it. Let's just get on with this. Let's just start the game. And already a couple of days before the tournament, he was just couldn't wait for the tournament to start. And finally it's here. So Jurabek is one of the invited Grandmasters because in order to have the GM norm, you need to have 3 Grandmasters. So that's why organizers are often inviting 3 Grandmasters from different federations normally. That's why, like Uzbekistan, I think another Grandmaster was from... Where was the other Grandmaster? Just a second, I would have to read you. I would have to read you the nationalities that are playing. Let me check it. I already forgot everything. So the starting list of players. Yeah, Mark Paragua is another Grandmaster. He represents Philippines. Then we have Oliver Barbosa, also from Philippines, by the way. So Jurabek Kambrakolov is from Uzbekistan. Then we have a bunch of title seekers from United States. And yet another international player, Igor Kovalchuk, who, by the way, is a last-minute replacement because one of the players at the last minute dropped out. So I'm not going to talk about it more in detail. He had some issues, so he had to drop out. And that's why the last See, the player in the tournament is Igor Kovalchuk. He's only 2057 rated, but it doesn't really affect Levy's GM norm chances because it just take my word on this. It just doesn't affect it. Yeah, there's a very complicated system, and everything is good. So Levy still needs 7 points out of 9. The only thing maybe that's gonna change is our prep, because we already prepped against this player from China who was originally supposed to play, and now the prep is gone. So yeah, that's what happens. But okay, that is, I believe, in round 8 or so. So we have time. Couple of moves can be made. G3, bishop b7, bishop g2, knight b7. Yeah, I mean, here maybe black could have played something like short castle, bishop g2, and bishop a6. It feels very tempting to keep the white king in the center, but I mean, white could always play d3. d3 to close this long diagonal, bishop b4, bishop, or maybe not bishop d2, it drops the pawn, but something like bishop b2. It's safe. There's no problems. So that's why here Jurabek is not even attempting to do that, and he just played knight e7. Maybe he wants to play something like knight c5. So I think here short castle is just good. Alright, let me see what you're writing there in the chat. As I already said, I'm reading what you're saying, just I don't really have very often time to read every single comment. Let me see. Yeah, there was a suggestion about black castling long. Yeah, maybe. Maybe black can consider like play queen e7 a long castle. For example, castles, queen e7, bishop b2 a long castle. But I think that Levy would just appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. One thing you have to understand is that Jurabek doesn't need anything from this game, from this tournament. I mean, he is an invited player, invited grandmaster. So his presence is required to give a chance for the title seekers to get the norm, right? That's it. Apart from that, he gets no GM norm. He already is a GM, right? That's why it's very often that invited players, they're just opting for draws whenever they can. But I don't think that here Jurabek even is thinking about it, because he perfectly understands that Levy is going to push for the victory. All right. Is it possible to lose your GM title? Chicken Chat is asking on Twitch. Only if you do something bad. Don't do anything bad, and then you're going to keep your GM title. Is this the first game of the event? Ma Framki is asking on Twitch. Yes, this is round 1. It basically says on the screen. Round 1. Let me see. Yeah, Shokasa. By the way, the synchronization is pretty good. It's like 1 second delayed. It's pretty good. Yeah, by the way, I'm seeing I have some audio delay with my video. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't know why this is happening. Maybe something because of this Microsoft unplanned reboot of the computer. Can I talk a little more about game ideas and the positions? What the best move is? Marco is asking on YouTube. Yeah, sure. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm going to do in the next 4 hours or so. Don't worry. Pa, 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 pa. How do you get the GM norm? I think I already kind of explained it. Has anyone lost the GM title? Yeah, only because of the cheating. Yeah, that's why, by the way, that's why there's the delay. So I said this at the very beginning. We are on a 15-minute delay. Not the chat. I'm reading you real time. But the moves, the video feed. So the video feed, I had to scroll back 15 minutes. This is delayed 15 minutes. And the reason is that, unfortunately, nowadays, there are players who are getting funny ideas about, using assistance from engines. This is illegal. It is stupid. It's not allowed. And I really hate people who do it. It just kills the sport, really. So it is actually possible with this smartphone easily crush Magnus Carlsen. Easy. The smartphone easily will win. But it is illegal. It's not allowed. I mean, you should be banned for life or something like that, right? And that's why there's a couple of fair play measures always implemented. And one of them is the broadcast delay. Like 50 minutes, if somebody has this funny idea, he runs to the toilet. Yeah, the typical place where to hide the phone is in the toilet. And he picks up the phone. The incoming signal is coming 50 minutes later. So it kind of removes the possibility. But, it is what it is. Yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough. All right. Yeah, Bishop B2, by the way, was just played. So Levy got, so far, the perfect position. What we did not see here is after Bishop G2 97, Show Castle here, Jurabek decided to play A6. It's a nice move because he stops any 9b5 ideas. For example, here, if Black will play castles, Bishop B2, and something like Rook E8, and here, let me just make some ridiculous move, like H6. It just makes no sense. Because then White plays 9b5, hits these weaknesses, the Bishop on D6, and the pawn on C7, and this will be really bad for Black. Because now White has a monster Bishop on B2, which is unchallenged. These pawns are weak, so it's not really good. And also for Black, going for something like this is really bad. Because, again, the same reason the Bishop on B2 is unchallenged, White could, in the long run, use this long diagonal, and that's why Jurabek here plays A6, to take away the B5 square. It has nothing to do with B5, and by the way, many club-level players, they think like, oh, you want to play B5, now let me play A4. And when this happens, I'm usually smiling because Black just played A6 to stop 9b5. Black played A6 not to push B5. Yeah, sometimes this happens when people don't correctly assess the incoming threat. So B5 is not a threat, not immediately anyway. So the idea is to stop 9b5. And now Bishop B2, I think Jurabek needs to play the short castle immediately, or maybe he's thinking about a long castle here. Yeah, the engine maybe gives here some minor advantage. No, there's no advantage. I see 0.0. But all you need to know, he wanted to get this. The position was supposed to be with the bishop on e7. It's with the bishop on d6. So clockwise, Levy is doing okay. He has played 10 moves. He has spent about 8 minutes. Maybe I haven't mentioned the time control. Yeah, I should have. The time control of this tournament, of this game, this is classical chess. So if somebody is wondering why they're playing so slowly, you gotta move. Well, it's 90 minutes for both opponents for the entire game. So this game, unless something dramatic will happen, this game will last for 4 hours. That's all you need to know. 4 hours. It's not going to finish in 1 hour. It's a longer game. So just enjoy it. Don't rush. We're going to walk step by step all the ideas, why Levy is doing what he's doing, why his opponent is doing what he's doing, etc. And obviously from time to time I'm going to check what you have to say in the chat. But mainly just chill, enjoy. This is the start of a tournament. Showcastle we just saw being played. I think the feed. Yep, there you go. Yeah, it's something like 5-second delay. All is good. Showcastle is very solid. All right. How many Europeans do we have, by the way, in the chat? Because here in Riga, it's almost 3 a.m. I had a nap in order to wake up. 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. I mean, Levy was laughing at me, and I was saying, Levy, I'm gonna do the commentary, no problem. Like he said, are you sure? You're insane. Do you know that? No, I said no. I'm not gonna sleep anyway. You know. Wow, we have a lot of Europeans actually. Wow. Yeah, true chess fans. Amazing. And what are you doing here? Why are you not sleeping? Yeah, because you probably feel exactly the same as I am feeling. I just could not really sleep. Europe is up. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, I saw a lot of countries. Lithuania, Netherlands. I even saw some Latvians, by the way, in the chat earlier. Germany, Portugal, Belarus, Denmark, Switzerland, Poland, Netherlands, Romania, Canada. Levy has fans all over the world. Greece, Norway, etc. Yeah, I could read all the countries basically. All right. So, Rook C1 is played by Levy. Yeah, big support group. One thing we talked about during the Spillenberger tournament is that Levy doesn't have a proper time management. And he is aware of this. He was not happy himself the way he was spending time in Italy. So at least here you can see he's playing much faster. Yeah, Black also is playing pretty confidently, Rook E8. So my suggestion to Levy was that do not overthink these positions. Just play chess and see what happens. So both of the players at the moment are positioning the pieces on good squares. Now at some point Levy will have to make a bigger decision. Where's going to be his pawn play? I'm not really sure. I think that he doesn't want to play d4. We have talked about this, by the way. So if Black plays c5, the typical idea is to play d4. So you want to take on c5 and create some weaknesses here. But if Black doesn't do it, now you quite do not want to play d4. Because then you can't play knight e5 and 40 kings at attack. Black is not going to play c5, and Black would maybe think about most like knight e4, knight f6, etc, etc, etc. So this d4, I am not so sure it's going to happen because we talked about this. Rook e1. Wow. That is nice. I like the speed. So he's toying with the idea to play d3, e4, which is something I wanted to mention next. It's like a statement. It's your move, sir. I'm playing rook e1. I mean, what do you do? What do you do here? I kind of want to play d3, e4. What do you do? So is Jurabek going to play c5? Then I think Levy's going to push d4. Is he not going to play c5? Then maybe Levy's going to play d3, e4. There's also some tricks with knight e4, knight f5. You see, this bishop on b2 is not yet closed. Recently, Levy came to really like these positions from the wise perspective. Before we started to collaborate, Levy was purely English opening player, and maybe something else. Maybe he was also playing some e4. But we started to cooperate, and I decided that it would be a good idea for him to include also the red opening in his repertoire. And right now he's mixing it all. He's playing some English opening, he's playing some ready, he's playing some d4. And at the moment, I think it's fair to say that Levy has a GM prep. He has a very good prep. So we have worked very hard in the past couple of months. So I would easily imagine at some point later he's not going to even have to prepare anything new. He'll just play whatever he has prepared previously, and then eventually the rating should be shooting up. Because I do think that Levy is playing much better than 2370 right now. In the past other Tuesday, which, okay, maybe is not really that important tournament. It's only a blitz tournament. It's played online. Levy beat 3 very good GMs in a row. So one of them was Alexander Shimanov. The other one was Vasif Dorarbaili. And who was the third one? I do not remember. I mean, he actually made a video about it. So all these guys are about 2600. That's all you need to know. And maybe those games, when he plays online, it doesn't really mean a lot. Like, okay, whatever, they're online games. But it gives confidence. And Levy needs confidence. He needs to have the regular feeling that he can beat very good grandmasters on a regular basis. It's not just an accident. It's not just one game. To become a grandmaster, you have to beat other grandmasters on a regular basis. You have to beat the best players in the game. That's how it goes. Oh, the third player was not GM, but 2950 IM. Okay. I think there was a third GM, but okay. Maybe you're correct. I just read somebody wrote it on Twitch. Yes, of course, he beat Hans before, but that was not in the previous Other Tuesday. Didn't some Super GM also say before that Levy's opening understanding is GM level? There's a question on YouTube. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, yeah. But again, I mean, openings are not everything. So the hardest part is the middle game, probably, because Levy's endgame is really good. And what we're struggling right now, we're struggling with middle games because there's so many fresh positions we have looked at, many openings, many ideas. And in order to develop proper feeling, you have to work on these middle games. So we have the time what we have. And obviously Levy is a full-time content creator as well. So all you need to know is that we're slowly moving forward. And I gave my estimation to Levy's chance to get a GM title, I would say several years. So it's a longer road. You have to be ready for this. It's not going to happen in 6 months or 3 months. It's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. It never happens so quickly. You just come back to the competitive chess, so you just become immediately a grandmaster. It takes time. And there definitely will be moments when Levy's progress will step back a bit. Like, I do believe it's one of the ways how life works: 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, etc. So Spilimbergo felt like it was a small step back, but then again he managed to erase the rating deficit that he had in the tournament and finished the tournament with a very nice victory over a grandmaster on a positive note. But I think in this tournament he has a very realistic shot to get the norm, because he has a very good pairing. And this, by the way, is important. Luck, when it comes to the pairings, it is important. Which players you get with white, which players you get with black. How many white players do you get? 5 or 4? It is important. So he has a very good pairing. He's playing against most top-seeded players with the white color. Let me just check it. I think he was playing all the GMs. I already forgot it. From the memory. So he's playing a Kamrakolov with white. He's playing against Paragua with white. And he's playing against Barbosa with white. So he's playing against all grandmasters with the white color. And Levy's white color is strong. That's good. And then he's playing also against some low-rated opponents with the black color. This is also good. So nothing to complain about when it comes to the pairings. The problem is, of course, the 7 points out of 9. Yes, I mean, we discussed this briefly before the tournament. Usually, the organizers try to make the threshold 6.5 points. Yeah, 6.5 points out of 9 in a GM round-robin tournament. This is a more popular goal. But again, it has something to do with the average rating of the invited players. So with the current field, it's 7 points out of 9. 6.5 is not going to be enough. But Levy will be happy. He'll be happy with 6 points or 6.5 as well, because it's going to mean it's a step forward. Right, 95 was played. I suppose Jurabek wants to play 93. So the question is how Levy wants to deal with this threat. Does he take it? Does he take with e5? Bishop takes with e5. Is there some knight a4 here? I want to trade the bishops. My idea is to play d4, knight e3, make the bishop on b7 look bad. We haven't talked about this, I think. I don't think we have talked about this typical plan. That in the positions with a pawn on d4, here, you favor the trade of the Doxua bishop, and then you want to play d4, imprison the bishop on b7, and white is always slightly better. But yeah, maybe he's gonna have to figure it out. I promise to tell you a crazy story about the Spilimbergo tournament. Fries writing on YouTube. Maybe not today. Yeah, there was a story. So let's just keep the secret still unrevealed. I'm gonna mention during this tournament. It's a pretty funny one. What happened during Spilimbergo? You're gonna love it. So what if Levy plays d4 now? Emso is suggesting on YouTube, yeah, d4 now doesn't make sense, unfortunately. Okay, the engine says it does make sense, but from my perspective, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, now it understands. So you're blocking your bishop. You want to get this position, but trade the bishops. And yeah, you have to think about something like rook c2, queen c1, bishop a3. It's just so awkward. Black could just kill. The idea right there with queen e7 to make sure this never happens. So no, I think that knight e5 has to happen. Unless Levy has some weird ideas with queen c2 or queen e2, it just looks weird. So I would say knight e5, bishop e5, now d4 would lock the bishop, so Levy should pick this up. He should find knight a4. Now the question is what happens if black declines and he plays bishop d6? Is this something that might happen? This makes perfect sense, but also it leaves the bishop on b2 unchallenged. What is my rating? There was a question on YouTube chat. My current rating is 2571. I think so. I haven't played it for a while, really. My highest rating was 2631. Classical chess. Just shy of top 100 in the world. At least in classical chess. I was in top 100 in Rapid and Blitz. Doesn't really matter, but I was there. Anyway, I'm thinking about this position. What could be the idea? Maybe play something like queen f3. Hit the knight. Go here. Because black cannot really play b5. It opens up the c5 square. There's no d4. The bishop on b7 is undefended. And something like knight e4, d3. There's no knight e2. It just makes no sense. This is not a fork. And you would want to get something like this. This is good. Black has multiple weaknesses. This bishop is stupid. Okay, we have some dark swap problems here, but I don't think the black can exploit them. And then, yeah, c5 is not even happening. I think this is the best Levy can do. Knight e5, bishop e5, and knight a4. I like it. Why knight a4? Because there's no other knight retreat, because the bishop on b2 is under attack. Okay, maybe play queen c2. Queen c2 with knight e2. Same idea. It could be working as well, like c5. Most likely, again, knight a4 is a move, but let me try to play this. There's no d4, the bishop is undefended. Takes, takes. Some sort of a rook c8 and d4. So the idea is to take it and apply pressure. This is why the bishop is on g2. Dear viewers, do you remember? You remember this mysterious move? g3? This is why he played g3, bishop g2. This is why he didn't play bishop e2 or d4 and bishop d3. Because he expected that black is going to play bishop b7, and at some point he's going to play c5, and after d4 there's going to be pressure against the center on d5. Welcome to the GM level chess. Levy. Sinister Andrew on Twitch is saying Levy is not gonna play knight a4 because I told him not to remove pieces from center squares anymore. Yeah. I'm feeling guilty now. I mean, okay, on a serious note, sometimes you need to make an exception to the rule. Levy is slowing down. Fellini is writing on Twitch. Yes, you have to. Because now this is a middle game. It's a unique position. You have never seen it before. Like, you have some ideas. But every single position, mainly, Levy really hasn't tested in the middle game. He has practiced quite a bit online. But one thing is playing online. And the other thing is sitting over the board against a Grandmaster. Is Levy thinking too much? No, he's playing a very good pace. This is a very good pace right now. He still has 1 hour and 10 minutes. By the way, the time control, I wanted to mention this. I don't think I mentioned it. So it is 90 minutes for the entire game for both players and 30 seconds per every made move. That's it. That's it. No second time control. No added time after move 40. And you know why? Because there's a double rounds every day. It's so tough. Every single day for the next 5 days, Levy will play 2 games a day. And a typical day can lead to 9 hours of GM level chess. It's very exhausting. So physical prep definitely is going to play a role here. Good sleep is necessary. That's why he was suffering Spilimbergo. Zuko on Twitch is asking, please talk about Levy versus Pia in October. But what do you want me to say? Levy already announced it, that he's going to play against Pia Kramling, Swedish chess legend, a match. End of October in Stockholm. It's going to be an amazing event. All right. Yeah, 95 is played. I like this move. I think there was simply no choice. Can I talk about what type of player Jurabek is? There was a question on YouTube. He is I think mainly a solid player. And in this tournament, he has probably no ambition. But he is perfectly aware of who Levy is. And you know the funniest story? You're not going to believe it. The last time Levy was playing in New York, this IM round robin tournament, he was playing against Grandmaster from Lithuania, represented by the guys from St. Petersburg, Maxim Novik. So he played against Maxim Novik, they played a game, and they chatted a bit after the game, they finished in a draw. And I played against Novik a couple of weeks ago in Estonia. Because he was playing in the Rapid tournament, I was playing in the Rapid tournament. And after the game, I said to him, so how was your game against Levy in New York? Yeah, it was nice, etc. And I was asking him, how did you feel about the huge audience watching your game? I mean, were you not like intimidated? There's something like 20,000 people watching at every single move you make. It was like, what 20,000 people? I was like, wait a second. Don't you know that Levy is the greatest content creator in chess? The largest content creator in chess? I was like, really? Oh my goodness. I said, you don't know that a guy has like 5 million followers on YouTube? It's like, really? I mean, some people don't know. Yeah, but I think that Jurabek knows. Jurabek knows. I mean, some people just don't know. They don't care. So this is something that Hikaru, by the way, suggested, that Levy should use this as a psychological weapon against his opponents. That the massive audience is watching your games, and this applies pressure to your opponent. Use it in a positive way, obviously. What was my training schedule when I was going for National Master? Past sponsors asking on YouTube. Oh my goodness. I never went for a National Master. I just got it. I was just playing well, and one day I got it. That's it. I got the National Master. I remember how I got my IM title. Through the norms, just playing well in open tournaments. I never played in round robins. I just played well, and I got it. But for GM title, it's obviously much more difficult. Yes. So you have to play. You have to play in those special round robin tournaments. Okay, maybe somebody is going to disagree and say that you could easily get all the norms in open tournaments or the so-called Swiss tournaments. It is possible, but it's very tough. Queen c2. Okay, it's a move. Yeah, so Levy wants to play knight e2, now the bishop on b2 is protected. I like this move. Knight a4 was not really so clear because, again, look at this. Knight a4, bishop d6. I was not sure what is this. Like queen f3 maybe, hit the knight. Black could play knight e7 perhaps. What is this, yeah? So what Levy says, I'm protecting the bishop. I want to play knight e2. And if you're going to decline, let's say if black is going to play, let's say h6, now I get my knight on d4. So the knight is not feeling silly on a4. It's a central square. It's getting to f5. So most likely Jurabek is going to play something like c5, knight e2. I see no reason for him to keep the bishops alive because the bishop on b2 is quite annoying, so most likely a trade could happen. And I think we are going here. I think this is the position we are heading. And why the slot are better? There could be ideas like a4, a5, apply some pressure, maybe double the rooks here. Maybe you just take on c5 immediately, queen a3, or let's say ideas like b4, create a weakness, put the knight on d4. There's many ideas. So the opening is a success. Are there any cash prizes aside from potential norm? Shane Wong is asking. Actually, it's a very good question. I'll inquire the information. Sometimes in closed tournaments for norms, there are prizes. Yeah, sometimes they are. But not always. It's like an extra. So players, they get special conditions. I mean, you might be asking, if Grandmasters, they have no motivation to play in those norm tournaments, to give a chance for the title seekers to get the GM norm, why they're playing there? Obviously, financial incentive, obviously, right? So they're just playing there, they're getting something, that's where they're. And if you add prizes, yeah, then it's a bit tough. Then it's a bit tough. I suppose it also would raise the entry fee for the title seekers. I was reading what was the entry fee in this tournament. I'll check it. I think it was something like $800, something like that. It's quite a lot, actually. It's quite a lot. How many moves have been played? 40 moves. This is move 14. Is Levy gonna get the GM norm in this tournament? Yes, he is. One question answered. Yeah, I already see. Connor Jonathan already wrote on Twitch. If I can trust it, 850, 650 for foreign norm seekers. Yeah, sounds about right. I think this is what I read. So I'm gonna inquire the information what about the prizes, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's like an extra incentive. But the main reason why the title seekers are playing is the norm. That's it. You want to get prizes? You go to strong open tournaments. You perform at 2700. And maybe it's not enough. Let me see. Do I prefer teaching advanced players like Levy or lower levels? Definitely advanced players, and definitely Levy. I think it's safe to say that Levy is the most famous student I've ever had. I've coached a couple of students to the GM title. I mean, not only my work, they were working themselves very hard. So 2 of my students became Grandmasters. So Levy could be the 3rd one. I've done it before. If your opponent gets up from the board, can you sit in his chair? Big Names is asking on Twitch. You can, but you'll be slapped. So don't. What kind of question is that? I mean, you have your own chair. Unbelievable. Yeah, here Jurabek is thinking, I think that one thing you have to understand is at this level, maybe an average fan is thinking, why Jurabek is thinking, just make a move, like play c5, I mean, play h6 here, it's so obvious here. No, it's not obvious. It's all about the larger picture, right? So you are looking at this position, and then you're combining your opponent's possible moves based on your understanding of chess. So you look in the future and you try to understand, do I like it or I don't? And this is what Jurabek is doing right now. Do you think he's struggling to find a move? No. No, I mean, he sees moves. So he's trying to understand, does he like this? For example, after c5, knight e2, because why is he going to play knight e2? How does he know that? Because he pays attention to the move on queen on c2. Because why would Levy play queen c2? Obviously to protect the bishop on b2. Then Jurapek is asking himself, if I was playing queen c2, what would be my idea? Obviously my idea would be playing knight e2. So he's thinking, I'm going to play c5, Levy's going to play a knight e2. Do I trade the bishops? Don't I trade the bishops? How do I come at this bishop? Probably I'm going to take it. So I'm going to take it. How do I stop d4? I suppose I don't. So he's looking at this position, for example, rook c8 and d4, and he's asking himself the question, do I like this position? Do I like it? If I don't, what else is there? So I'm looking at this position, I'm talking from Jurabek's perspective, okay, I don't like it, what else is there? I could play maybe for a king set attack. Can I play h5? You know, h5, h4, go for a king set attack. Levy's going to play knight e2 anyway. Can I play bishop d6, keep the Kingston attack alive? Levy's gonna play knight e4, get the knight to f5. Can I play g6? Is this a good position? What are gonna be my next moves? You know, that's why very often, I mean, not very often, I mean, it's all the time. It's all the time. They're thinking way ahead. So what you're seeing is just the moves they're playing, but there's so many things that remain behind the curtains that you don't see, obviously. And it's very fascinating, usually, to hear the thoughts of the players after the game. That's why I think also Levy's own recap videos are really great, because he always takes it slow, walks through every single thought process, why he was considering this and that. And I do believe that if you are a good player, you can very often read your opponent really well. Like, I can understand why he goes there, because this is how I will play myself, right? That's why it's very easy to understand. Sometimes maybe when I'm looking at the top GM games like Magnus Carlsen, some of the moves even I don't understand, because it's like a bit meta level. They're like thinking, not like the typical GM level, like thinking quantum physics level. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit difficult, but most of the time, of course, you can easily understand what they're planning, because you're grandmasters, you're supposed to understand. Levy gets up. How many moves should you calculate in advance? Nick is asking on YouTube. It depends on the position. Some positions require deep calculation. Some positions are based on feeling. You study pawn structures, you study certain positions. You have played it before. Very often we have this thing called subconscious knowledge. Everything we have learned, we have studied, we have seen, it's somewhere deep inside in the mind. And we just see these moves somehow. All right. Let me check. Let me check what else you're writing there. Does it ever get boring while playing these long format games where you are waiting for your opponent to make a move? Sandrin is asking on YouTube. Yes. Yes, it does. There are moments when you just can't stand it. It's just taking forever. When you are not used to play classical chess, and you just want to play fast, make those moves very quickly, and then your opponent starts to think for 50 minutes. He's thinking for his next move for 50 minutes. It's just unbearable. And suddenly you just want to say to your opponent, just make a move already, right? Let's play. But it is what it is. You know, especially this happens in Bundesliga. A German Bundesliga is one of the strongest chess leagues in Europe. And they have this crazy time control. The first time control for the first 40 moves is 1 hour and 50. No, 1 hour and 40. Yes, 1 hour and 40. You reach move 40, and then you get extra 50 minutes on the clock. 50. 5-0. So you get to the second time control, you just fall asleep instantly. You just, very slow. Okay, Queen d7 is played. I think Levy's going to play knight e2 very quickly here. Maybe look at the position for a couple of seconds. While my opponent is playing Queen d7, what does he want? Is he not blundering anything? And then make his move. Wait, but I think the video is a bit lagging now. Let me see if... Yeah, I moved it a bit forward. Yeah, queen d7 is a weird move. I don't know. Maybe after knight a2 he's still gonna play c5. Yeah, let's see. Yes, the video is about 30 seconds behind the board. Exactly, Whiskey is writing it on YouTube. I agree. I'm gonna try to get the perfect synchronization. There's a very nice question. X8 Xatrix or whatever your username spells on Twitch is asking, how is a GM norm eligible if average opponent rating is 2375 when 2380 is required? I haven't counted the average rating, but there's an exception to the rule. One of the players is adjusted to 2200. That's the, for example, you can be 2000 rated, you enter a norm tournament, and your rating as the lowest ranked player is adjusted to 2200. That's why even the last player could be something like 1900. It doesn't matter. He's not bringing down the average rating. He is adjusted. It's good. And it's also the job of the organizers to ensure that the requirements for the norm, they stay the same as advertised. You know, it would be really stupid. Imagine this. You're a tournament organizer. You're inviting the title seeded players, the title seekers, and you're saying, yeah, you know, in this tournament, the norm is going to be 7 points. And then somebody is replaced and you say, oh, sorry, my bad, it's going to be 7.5. It changes quite a bit, doesn't it? Right? Because of one player. So the tournament organizers are following really closely. Who do they invite? They're following the FIDE rules. They calculate what is the requirements. It's a tough job. So I would once again like to use this opportunity to thank to Marshall Chess Club for that, because this tournament is happening in Marshall Chess Club in New York City. That they're doing this, and also every other tournament organizers who are doing this, because it's wow, it's a 4. Wow, 4. Anyway, finishing my thought, I wanted to say thank you to all the tournament organizers, but a 4, wow. No, it's not a blunder. It's just... it's a slightly weird move. Wait. Just a second. So, I thought, I see I was wrong. I thought Levy's gonna play knight e2 with the idea to trade the bishops and then play d4. Or play, I don't know, d4, knight f4, etc. It's a bit boring, but it's a positional game. All you need to know about f4 is that this is sharper move. Because after f4, he's opening up this long diagonal. Because here, black cannot take on c3. Why? Because this would allow white to form this very powerful battery of the queen and the bishop. So if white is able to play moves like g4, g5, or maybe bishop f3, g4, g5, that's a mate. Right? Also, yeah, by the way, the pawn on c7 is under... my bad. Yeah. My bad. Yeah, I didn't notice. The pawn is under attack. Sorry, my bad. So let's say bishop c3, queen c3. Let's say black is not silly. Black plays something like rook c8. Now, wanted to play bishop f3. You play something like c5, I want to play something like g4, g5, and you start to see that there might be some ideas with this long diagonal, right? Let's say black plays knight e4, oh, it's a mate on the board. So that's why it's quite understandable that black is not taking on c3. He plays bishop d6. I just killed the fly. All right. So, yeah, Levy playing knight e2. And now he wants to take on f6. Play knight e4. And I like it. I really like it. Why I didn't consider this move f4? Let me tell you this. Because I have a feeling that with the rook in e1, it feels weird. It should be standing here. Like, if you play f4, you want to have the rook on f1 and then march those pawns forward. But this creates quite a bit unbalance to the position. So there's ideas like bishop takes on f6. There's ideas like knight e4, knight f5. There's ideas like something g4, g5 related. Maybe even d3, e4, e5 at some moment. So I think that Jurabek has to play knight e4. And now what about d3? You go back. You know, it's getting really tricky here. So I could go here. And something like, again, I'm not entirely sure, but I want to play e4 at some, oh, I blundered something, I'm bad. I just want to play e4. I'm not sure. So how was it? Knight e4, d3 here. Maybe just play knight e4. Knight e4, bishop f8, g6, bishop g7, something. Knight f3. Actually, this looks nice. I like it. I approve. I did not see this. I approve. It's maybe a bit more exciting, yeah, because I'm looking from my perspective. Because one thing, by the way, you have to know, we are slightly different players. Levy is a more dynamic player. He likes sharper chess. He likes dynamics. I'm myself more the positional grinder. I like slower chess. I like the long squeeze, the grind. So that's why when I'm looking at a position and I'm suggesting combinations, I'm thinking from my prism, from my understanding. Like, that's why I'm not even looking at a 4. But it looks good. And I play the Dutch as well. Yes, the Dutch defense is actually we share the same passion for the Dutch defense, me and Levy. He also likes it. I've watched Levy a lot before becoming his coach. Damn Rider is asking on Twitch. Well, no, not a lot. Obviously, I was perfectly aware of who he is. and I had met him in real life as well. I met him back in 2019 in Las Vegas when I was doing a US chess tour. So we just briefly met. He was not yet a big content creator. He was playing in National Open. And I was playing there with my good friend Igor Kovalenko. But yeah, apart from that, we have been in touch from time to time. Levy, by the way, when I started the stream, you know, I was so impressed. When I started the stream, I was like, just a beginner. You know, I was obviously a grandmaster, but I was just a beginner streamer like several years ago. And using our streamer channel, Levy wrote to me how to make some things better in my stream. So he already was a rising star. He wrote to me and he wrote, yeah, listen, you need to do this, improve this, etc. I was like, wow, yeah. That was really nice. So we have kept in touch from time to time. But yeah, basically how our collaboration started is that I watched the very first episode of the Road to GM series. I was going to sleep, and before I went to sleep, I saw the video and it just clicked that, wow, we should do this. And I wrote to him, and he responded. That's how it started. I was really surprised it happened. The only move here is knight e4. No, I'm not so sure that this is the only move. Also, bishop. Ah, wait, bishop e7 drops the pawn. Yeah, then you're right. Knight e4 is the only move. Yes, yes. This is, by the way, a good point. Bishop e7, queen c7 drops the pawn. I'm not very sharp. I mean, it's almost 4 a.m. here. I'm missing things. Engine says queen d8. No, queen d8 is never going to happen. Never, ever, ever. Queen d8 defense against bishop f6, not to ruin the pawn structure. No, it never will happen because it will block the rooks. So, knight e4 is the only move. That's all you need to know. By the way, look at the body language of Kamrakulov. He does not look very happy, does he? No. And Levy does. Levy looks very convinced. Before the tournament, we talked about the importance of starting the tournament well. And in case you remember how the tournament in Madrid, Levy's first tournament, when he returned to competitive chess, how it started with a massive result. Levy won his very first game with the black color against the top seeded player against the grandmaster. And guess what? Guess what is happening in this tournament? In the very first round, Levy is playing against the top seeded player of the tournament. It's déjà vu. Same story. The strongest player in round one. And I think it's great. Wow, wow, c5. Wow. Now that is a very responsible move. So Kamrakulov says, I'm not afraid of bishop f6. I don't think that Levy expected this, because he probably thought that knight e4 is going to happen no matter what. So bishop takes an f6. I mean, these pawns, they're very, very weak. Like here, Levy could go back knight c3. Bishop goes here, most likely. And there could be ideas like d4, with the idea that if you trade it, in the long run, these are weaknesses. Yeah, I see the bar slightly doesn't like it. I'm not sure why. There's also moves like queen d3, rook d8. Yeah, but the question is, where's the follow-up? Yeah, of course, bishop f6 got to be played. G takes on f6. Because if you don't take on f6, why did you play knight e2? You have to take it. Yeah, the only thing what's going to change now is that it's going to be a different pace for the game. No longer white has the attack. I mean, you would love to play bishop h3, but you can't do it. The knight on e2 is a bit ridiculous. So what Kamrakolov did, he is perfectly aware that he has created long-term weaknesses. He knows this, but he hopes that because of his central domination and the knight on e2, that he has enough counterplay. Now here the hardest part is to understand what's going to be the plan for Levy. So what we would usually talk about in our training sessions, when you don't know what to do, you always improve your pieces. So you are here and you're wondering, okay, I didn't expect c5. Okay, I gotta take on f6. I took on f6. Now what? My bishop on g2 is good. The queen on c2 is kind of okay, but the knight on e2. The knight on e2 is something that bothers me. I could play knight c3. I could. Yeah, I could play knight c3, hit the pawn on d5. Black is going to play bishop f8. But again, you're thinking, what next? What am I going to do next? Because maybe black is going to play moves like rook d8, f5, bishop g7, and d4. Maybe d4 even earlier. So how about I use the knight to get to the king side? And I'm thinking it would be great to get the knight on h4. That's why it's very important. You learn to formulate, where do I want to get my knight? So maybe h4, knight h4, knight f5. How do I get the knight on h4? Knight f3. How do I get the knight on f3? Knight g1. How do I get the knight on g1? The king is here. So, can I play king f2? With the idea to play knight g1, knight f3, knight h4, knight f5, and also the idea to play bishop h3. So black could play, for example, rook d8. I play knight g1. Black could play whatever, bishop f8 here. Black could play wherever, I don't know, queen d6. White is better. So white puts the bishop at f5. Maybe knight h4, knight f5. Maybe future ideas, g4, g5. It could backfire. It could backfire because if black plays d4, opens up this long diagonal, you might regret your life choices by putting the king on f2. It's not easy, you know. I mean, it's very easy to suggest king f2. Play knight g1, knight f3, but then again, you're thinking it's a bit scary move, you know. So you play king f2, you have to account for moves like d4. Like d4, can my opponent try to get to the king immediately? So I could take it, he could take it, I could maybe take it and take it. Maybe I'm going to ignore the pawn because bishop c5 is a problem, so how about queen d3, knight g1, knight f3, knight h4, knight f5, the king is safe. Yeah, it's an idea. The question is how easy it is to pick up. I mean, there's also king h1. That's a move I slightly don't like because the king is stepping away, but maybe it's feeling a bit safer. Like king h1, what about d4 now? So the point is, if you take on b7, this is a check. You see, this is a check, and also we have a lot of light score weaknesses. That's why I think this king f2 is a bit safer, because you take care of the d4 push. No, Levy didn't find it. He played knight c3. Yeah, king f2 was pretty difficult move. I mean, knight c3 is a good move, but I think that Levy should have slowed down here. This is one of the things that he still lacks. He knows it himself. Where do you slow down? When is the right moment to slow down? When do you start to think? You want to think at the critical moments. So I don't think that Levy really expected that his opponent is going to play c5. He was surprised. He was definitely surprised. So he took on f6 because he has to take on f6. Otherwise, what I'm doing here, right? You got to take on f6. G takes on f6. And this moment, I'm not happy about the speed. So he played knight c3 like in 5 minutes. If he had formulated where I could position my pieces that the knight actually belongs to the king side and the f5 square, he would have picked up king f2. The problem is, there's a very logical alternative, and that is the knight on c3. And it's like with illusionists, right? I'm showing you something like David Copperfield. I'm showing you, look here, right? Look here, what I'm doing here. And in the meantime, I'm actually executing the trick on the background. So I'm saying this. Whenever you see something very obvious, like knight c3, it's very difficult to notice those tricks in the background. Like king f2, knight g1. Because knight c3 just makes perfect sense. The problem what I don't like about knight c3 is I quite do not see what he is going to do after bishop f8. Maybe he's going to play e4. Maybe this is his idea, to play e4. Good idea to play e4, d4, and knight e5. But again, I mean, after e4, black would just take it. Bishop e4. I don't think this is so great. Yeah, maybe not f5 immediately, but yeah, this check would be unpleasant. Check, and here, and rook e4, and f5. So black is going to play definitely bishop f8. Seems like an easy move. The idea is to put the bishop on the long diagonal somewhere, open up the d file, protect the pawn. Typical GM move. Maybe Levy wants to play d3? I mean, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. The question is, what's his next move? Bishop f8 is on the board, of course. All right. Yeah, as already said, this is one of the things that Levy has been struggling to understand. When to spend time, when to play faster, when to play slower, when to apply pressure, when to play by hand. And I think it's gonna come with time, obviously. So he's quite unhappy about it himself, that sometimes, yeah, he's like criticizing himself. I mean, why I'm rushing in those critical moments, or why I'm like overthinking some super simple positions. So we're gonna see. Queen d3 looks logical, but what about rook a d8? Yes. Queen d3, rook d8, then what? It's all about what's your plan. Knight a4 also looks human. Yeah, maybe actually knight a4 with d4 somehow. Knight a4. Let's say you play queen something. Queen d6 maybe. And now d4? Or maybe actually queen f5. I don't know. Yeah, it still looks good. Yeah, I like this idea, knight a4. Knight a4 applies some pressure, so knight a4, you're gonna play b5, it drops the pawn. Also, there's a fork on b6. Queen something, I don't know, queen e6, maybe to guard this square. I mean, you need to do something really quick, because black is gonna play rook c8 b5. You cannot wait. There could be a moment when Levy could play d4. Like d4 takes and give up 2 rooks for the queen. Takes, and play something like this. Could be. Because some people sometimes don't understand. It's like automatically they're ranking 2 rooks versus the queen. They're always stronger. No, they're not always stronger. It really depends on the position. Because now black is pretty passive here. White threatens to take it. Bishop f3 guards all the weaknesses. These bishops are pretty silly. So, for example, knight a4, queen e6, d4 makes quite a bit sense. Takes, queen e1, rook e1, and king f2. I like this. So maybe after d4, black could play something else, like rook c8. And I don't know what happens now. I mean, do you take it and play moves like queen d3, knight c3, rook d1, apply some pressure here? It's tough to say. Yeah, somebody wrote in the chat bishop f1. It just makes no sense. Bishop f1 jumps under d4, jumps under potential long diagonal. So you're not in time to play bishop d3 here. So if you retreat with the knight, queen d5, it's almost like a mate. Feels very close. No, I don't think bishop f1 is ever going to happen. Totally knight a4. Knight a4, queen e6, and then what? Oh yeah. I forgot to mention. The chat. I'm not using an engine here. I thought it's already pretty obvious. So I see some of you are following the game and you're using engines. I'm not using an engine. So I try to understand the position from Levy's perspective. Some of the choices I'm not guessing really, but mostly I like them. Like this f4 idea, I like it. Knight c3, I was a bit unhappy that Levy played it a bit too quickly. He should have thought a bit longer about the other opportunities, but I mean, maybe Levy just felt that there's nothing else except of knight c3. So king f2, knight g1 is like probably a bit meta level. So he is not there yet. Do these norm events have strict anti-cheating detection? Gilbara is asking on Twitch. I think so. I mean, there's the 50-minute delay. Some of the tournaments have these scanners. Every player is scanned for any metal devices with them, any electronic devices. You cannot have the phone with you during the game. Obviously, there is an exception when you are a streamer. So this is approved by the tournament organizer. The tournament organizer obviously checks the device. Is it transmitting any advice to the player? Obviously, it's not. Levy is not hearing whatever we're discussing here. This will be simply illegal. You cannot do that. And there's no electronic devices allowed. By the way, also, with the modern technology evolving so quickly, smartphones or any, what smartphones? Smartwatches or any watches whatsoever are not allowed. Because technically you could install an engine on a smartwatch. So the organizer is not going to try to figure out, do you have an analog watch or do you have a smartwatch? They're simply often prohibited. Smart necklaces. Yes, yes. By the way, I saw somebody writing jokingly about the pen. Yeah, it's a joke, right? But there are tournaments that don't even allow bring your own pen to the playing venue. And they're saying we are going to provide you with our own pens. Seriously. So next month starts the World Chess Olympiad in Budapest. So you can expect it's going to have very serious fair play measures. I remember this. I was playing in a couple of Olympiads before. This is going to be for me the 6th Olympiad. I will be playing for Team Latvia, top board. And every single Olympiad is pretty serious when it comes to the fair play measures. Also, all of the, obviously, top tournaments in the world. All right, Levy's thinking, it's not so easy here. I suppose knight a4. Is Levy playing in the Olympiad? No, he is not. Because the Olympiad is the composition of national teams. So every single national team sends like 5-6 best players. For United States, the competition is just incredible. I would not be myself in the US national team, not even close. So US national team they are one of the favorites to win the entire thing. What was the lineup actually? Let me try to remember. Fabi Corona, Levon Aronian, Wesley So, Ray Robson. Who was the 5th one? Lenier Dominguez Perez. I mean, these are 2750 guys. No, Hikaru actually is not playing. Yeah, and Hans is not in the team. No, he is not in the team. As far as I know. Let Levy get naturalized as Latvian. I'm gonna keep this idea. We need good players. Right. Yeah, now, yeah, that's what I'm saying about Levy. Now he starts to think, right? That's why this is definitely room for improvement. Like, he plays knight c3, bishop f8, and now he's like in the tank. He's thinking for 10, 15 minutes. We have talked about this in previous tournaments, that sometimes he plays this first move too quickly, and then he starts to think for something like 10, 15 minutes. That's why it was so important here before playing knight c3 to spend these 10, 15 minutes right here, not playing the obvious move knight c3. But okay, what's done is done. Everything is still good. Do I have a coach? Some weird fish is asking on Twitch. Nice username, by the way. No, I don't have a coach. But actually, it's a pretty common thing. Like, you're coaching somebody, a student, and then the student is coaching somebody else. And then somebody else is coaching somebody else. So I even came up with the term. Like, if you're at the very top at this corporation, you are the grand coach. Grand coach. Great grand coach. Yes. Yes. All right, e4. E4. I'm not sure I like this. So, what about d takes on e4, not e4? f5 is obviously a fork. What about queen d4 check? Maybe knight f2. Takes, and f5. Oh wait, there's a 5, queen f5. Somehow it doesn't feel right. You know why it doesn't feel right? Because the king is a bit weak. What I'm afraid of are those dark squares. He's slightly misplaying this. I don't think d4 is going to happen. d4, knight e5 is definitely easy move. D takes, I think this is incredibly risky because of queen d4 check and possible exchange sacrifice. You could have played king g2, rook e4, knight e4. Yeah. This is lights out immediately. 2 bishops for the rook, it's too much. So maybe king f1. And take it, and take it. And take it, and take it. If you go here, I go here. If you go here, I go here. There's no check on f3, the queen protects it. It's a very concrete move, but it just doesn't feel right. Takes. So what was it? Bishop e4. Maybe f5 immediately. I mean, I could just take it. Or maybe take on b7 and take on f5. I just try to somehow figure out, can black put the bishop on g7 and then bishop on d4? And it just feels a bit risky here, but again, white might be just in time to play knight e4. What happens if there's a rook sacrifice on e4? I mean, there needs to be a follow-up. Check. I mean, this is not so obvious. Oh, the bar says this is obvious. I'm not sure. Like even knight g5 could be a move. Queen d5. No, it's a very complex position. Okay, I'm blundering something already here. Rook e4. Maybe it's a move. Or maybe actually Levy wants to play after d takes on e4, knight e4. Feels a bit safer. Because now there's no exchange sacrifice here. So black will play here with the idea to play f5. This makes perfect sense. Maybe go here. Takes, and f5. What is worse? Definitely worse. The pawn and f5 cannot be targeted. This is a weakness. The position is pretty open. So maybe the idea is to play bishop e4, force the trade. Assuming there's no exchange sacrifice. Takes, bishop g7, same idea. Oh wait, what did I say? I said rook e4 maybe is a move. I do not like this. Because again, black is very... For black, the idea to put a bishop on g7 and d5 is so obvious. Like takes... 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 Knight e4, rook e4, maybe knight e4 and bishop g7. Yeah, I don't see how do you stop f5 on bishop d4. And also, if you try to take with the knight, bishop g7, same move. Levy made a mistake. That's what happened here. I think that he simply underestimated the idea of bishop g7 and f5. You know, it also goes slightly against the logic. So in this position, you probably want to keep things close, right? Because your opponent has two bishops. You are attempting to opening up, then the power of those bishops is going to increase. This is something you have to get ready. Now this knight a4 and d4 probably was the best Levy could have done. Like knight a4, hit the pawn, queen e6, d4, sacrifice the rook at e1 for the queen and two rooks versus two rooks. Rook c8. I can only assume that he did not like this position. Do you have hope in Levy? Of course. All I'm saying is that he made a mistake. Of course. I'm hoping that everything is going to turn out well. We'll see. Now Jurabek I think that he senses that there's something wrong with the white plan. If black is going to pick up this idea of d takes knight e4, bishop g7, f5, and bishop d4, Levy will have to defend. The good news is Levy's ahead on the clock. He has 46 minutes versus 36. This is good. So the more time advantage he has, the more pressure he can apply. Maybe also there could be a moment when Levy could just settle for a draw. Because again, this is a longer distance. He doesn't need to win every single game. Draw is also good. He just needs 7 points out of 9. Ten-minute time advantage is a big deal here? No, I don't think so. It's a small bonus. It's not a lot. It's pleasant. There might be a knight a4 move. I got this suggestion a couple of times in the chat, but dear viewers, I don't see any knight a4 anymore. It made sense to do it before. Now, with the open position, now knight a4 makes no sense here. Before Levy pushed e4, yes, knight a4 made sense. So again, let's check this line. How human is this for black? This makes no sense. Why? Because white is just better. White plays bishop e4 or bishop e4, f5. This is a strong pass pawn. This bishop of 8 is weak. There's some weaknesses here. It just makes no sense. So Jurabek is definitely not going to play d4. The pawn on d5 is under attack. Like 3 times. So what do you think he's going to do? He's definitely going to take it. Maybe Levy wants to take with the bishop and take with the rook. But again, f5. Open up the bishop, put it on d4. I just don't know. Like takes. Yeah, the king is weak. I'm a bit afraid of it. D takes, 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 knight takes, bishop g7. I'm running out of ideas what to suggest against f5 and bishop d4. I just do not see f5, queen f5. Sack the pawn. Black is going to go back and play f5 anyway. There's no tricks. The queen is not hanging. Yeah. D takes on e4 is played. Of course he took on e4. Maybe knight e4. Bishop g7. What could be? the idea. How about some queen c3? Oh, I blundered something. I thought maybe there's some tricks with f5 and knight f6. Takes, f5, takes. I mean, even this position doesn't look very good. So knight takes here. Knight f2. Takes, f5. Maybe queen d3. Takes. Rook d8, rook e3, rook d7. Here. Rook c2, remove the knight and hold on. But again, you definitely can sense that white is not even in any position to get to the pawn on f5. Like maybe in the long run here, knight e1, knight f3, knight h4. Come on, it's just so slow. Black plays bishop f6 at any moment. Black is better, always Slaughterberg here. So Levy will have to defend. He will have to defend. Again, I think he has to play like, what was it, knight e4, here, knight f2, protect the king, probably trade is going to happen, black is definitely going to play f5, and since the king is a bit weak, oh wait, maybe black could play first something like queen d5 check. King goes here, and now f5. Oh, this is actually pretty annoying. There's no queen f3 anymore. So how was it? Bishop takes. Oh, sorry, what I'm saying. Oh, what does it matter actually? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I take with the bishop. I go knight f2. And he plays bishop d4. Yeah. Where's my video, by the way? Reload. Just a second. Yeah, the video is loading. I don't know. Where's the video? Ah. Second. Why is it doing this? Alright. Kinda fixed it. I think here Levy should realize that whatever he was planning to do before, it does not work. And he has to defend. This is, by the way, pretty hard. It's very hard when you're like thinking, I played this very nice opening, I had a very nice position. And then after a move, you realize, oh no, I'm in trouble. What should I do? We have talked about this. We have talked about the mental difficulties during a game, because chess is very often a big psychological game. Like some chess professionals, like Judy Polgars, have said that in chess, psychology is about 40%. 40% of the entire thing. 30-40%. That's the average number that many chess greats are giving. Levy himself said psychology in chess is 70% for him. So that's why here the most important thing is to calm down. And I would say to Levy in similar positions, limit the damage. So you realize what's done is done. What looked so nice a couple of moves ago now doesn't look so good anymore. What do I do? So the first thing you have to do, you just breathe. You just breathe and do not make the second mistake, because this is the moment when you are most vulnerable. There's this thing called 2 mistakes in a row. You commit the one mistake, you're unhappy, you make the next mistake, which is a huge one. Levy knows this. And right now you can also get a pretty good read from his body language. He senses something is not right. So instead of trying to calculate something, my suggestion is 5 minutes, reset your mindset. This is the position you have right now. It doesn't matter what happened before. Just work it out. By the way, it's always a very good question. You ask yourself, am I lost? You know, it's very important you ask yourself this question. Am I lost in this position? Have I made a losing mistake? No, you should not be lost, but you're worse. How do you reset your mindset from here? That's the toughest part. So far in the first tournaments after Levy's return to competitive chess, Levy has had a couple of tough moments. And there will be more. There will be tough moments when he will have to recover. Now, I think this is the moment when the training should kick in. First thing you do, you slow down. Breathe 5-10 minutes. Then work it out. So yeah, I think here Levy is going to spend at least 10-15 minutes. Because now he realizes something is wrong. How do I work it out? How do I make a draw? I mean, he could just offer a draw right here, by the way. He could. And maybe even his opponent could accept. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But Levy is a fighter. All right. What path is for Levy to win here? There is no win here. Right now it's all about limiting the damage. By the way, this is one of the most important steps on the road to the GM title. Not always every single game is gonna go your way. There will be moments when you will make mistakes. There will be moments when you'll be in trouble. So the key here is not to lose. find the strength, gather the thoughts, and salvage the game. Okay, maybe in the long run you can dream about the victory. Now it's all about limiting the damage. Must be rude to offer a draw, Matt suggests on YouTube. I'm not sure, to be honest. You know, this is, by the way, very often what nominally stronger players are doing all the time. I'm telling this seriously. Like, let's say I'm playing myself in a tournament. Let's say an open tournament. I'm playing against 2300. I misplay the position. I get in trouble in the opening, and I feel I'm in trouble. I might lose. And before I'm in a lot of trouble, I offer a draw at the right moment. And the opponent is, very conflicted, having very conflicted feelings, because maybe he was pretty happy with the draw before the game. And now his opponent, the GM, is offering a draw. And then he asks himself, am I really going to beat this Grandmaster today? No, probably not. Let's just make it a draw. So very often, strong players get away with this, offering a draw at the right moment. But I'm not sure this is the case here because, again, Levy is the IM here and Jurabek is the GM. But again, Jurabek maybe doesn't really have a motivation in this tournament. I don't really know him as a player. But I don't think that Levy even can afford to do it as a content creator. Because he knows a huge audience is watching him. If he would start to make quick draws, he has to fight it out, no matter what. I think he will fight it out. I'll be super surprised if this game is going to finish a draw. Unless, of course, Kamrakolov is going to offer a draw himself. I mean, this might happen. Now, this might happen. He might just offer a draw. But probably the game continues, because for him there's no risk here. Bishop g7, f5 is incoming. Speaking about the gain rating, it doesn't matter. So if Levy would draw this gain, he would gain like slightly less than 2 points. Whatever. One thing we have talked about, the requirements to get the GM title is to get the rating of 2500. So Levy right now has 2370. So it seems like it's very far away, right? Yes, it's very far away. I agree. I mean, he still needs 130 points. Yes, it's huge. But then again, you start to think, he started with 2322 a couple of months ago. He had 50 points less. Now he already has 2370. It already feels like it's pretty much doable, right? So typically the rating is calculated the following way. So Levy has 2370 and he would face somebody rated with exactly the same rating, 2370. So this means the victory gives him 5 rating points. The next step of getting an extra point is 70 rating point difference. So for example, if Levy was playing against somebody who is rated 2440, this means for the victory he would get 6 points. For the draw he would get 1 point. And now that we're looking at Kamrakolov's 2494, so you do the math. So the rating difference is about 120 points. So with a draw, he would make about 1.7 rating points. So he needs to gain a lot of rating to beat a lot of very good opponents. Is 2500 ELO or 3 norms harder? I think the rating is harder. Because Levy's starting at a disadvantage. He's starting with 2322. He's not starting from 2470 to get a GM norm like most of the title seekers do. He starts with a major disadvantage. That's why the rating is going to be harder. King F1, there's no King F1 or Rook E3. Now you have to take the pawn on E4. The question is, how do you take it? Yeah, by the way, chat, I see somebody's writing, Levy's losing, Levy's losing. No, he's not losing. Chill. Everything is good. He is just worse. He is just worse. It means it's not great. It means victory is quite unlikely. Now it's all about finding a way to salvage this game and not make things worse. This is one of the hardest things in chess. That's why Levy here is thinking. He's trying to calm down. Greetings from Portugal. What time is it in Portugal? 3 a.m., right? Here in Latvia, it's 4 a.m. Does Levy have a K factor? No, not anymore. So the K factor, there was a question on Twitch chat. The K factor is something that you get before you ever get to 2400. Okay, it's a very complex system, but you get more rating if you have never got to 2400 ELO in your life. Levy was over 2400. So this means he has a standard K factor for the rating calculation. That's it. Also for the kids under 18, there's a different rating factor. That's why some of the young kids are shooting up in the rating, sometimes gaining 200 points in 1 month or so. Yeah, the system is flawed, but it's due to the different rating factors. All right. Yeah, I think now it's pretty obvious that Levy is well aware of bishop g7 and f5. This is a good question. At what point does worse become losing? That's a nice question. Leah is asking it on Twitch. There's no clear number for that. So engines usually say something like minus 1.5 is close to losing. Minus 2 is losing. But again, it really depends on the position. Sometimes some of the positions with minus 1.5 or 1.5, they feel definitely differently than the other positions. But 0.7 is not losing. No. It's just you're worse. Worse, but it means with a perfect play, you can draw the game. That's what it means. Again, there's no question about should Levy take the pawn on e4. The question is how to take it. Yeah, there's already 1.5 might be winning with the perfect non-human computer play 30 moves deep. Yeah, I agree. 1.5 might not be even enough. So it's like this margin up 1.5. It might be winning. So that's why Levy cannot afford to make any mistakes here. Okay, bishop e4 is played. It's a good move. So get the bishops off the board, then work things out. With my camera, and try to adjust it. All right, let me adjust it. The video is on a delay. Now let's see what Kamraklov is going to respond. Probably bishop e4. I mean, there are some funny ideas with exchange sacrifice on e4, but I see no need for him to do it. Like, there was a moment when Black would play something like queen d4 check, king f1, and sacrifice the exchange. Oh, sorry. Rook e4 with the idea to beat knight e4 with a 5. Yeah, but why would you do that? So queen d4, king f1, maybe bishop e4, rook e4, rook e4, queen e4. I think white here is pretty safe, so this queen d4 is a mistake. So most likely Kamraklov has to play a bishop e4. Now I don't know what Levy's going to do. Rook e4, knight e4. Maybe rook e4. But rook e4 is f5. Probably knight e4. Knight e4, bishop g7. And find a way to bring the queen to f3. You need a queen on f3. Maybe here, f5 and knight g5. King g2, knight f3. Maybe it's actually not so bad. Like queen d. Oh, this is an annoying move. You're not in time to play knight f3 or king g2. Oh, queen d5 is a massive move. Because my idea was, if you play bishop d4 check, if you play queen d5 now I play knight f3, I'm safe. Bishop e4, c4. Wow. c4. Oh, that is a very unpleasant move. Oh, I didn't see this move at all. c4. So his idea to play bishop c5 and rook e4. So if I take it, I mean, you have to kill the bishop. Maybe there's some intermezzo checks. I was thinking about knight e4. Knight e4, knight f2. So maybe there's an intermezzo check on c5. Here. Check. Check. I mean, obviously I see that the bar gives black some advantage, but I mean, still how do you continue? Because if white plays queen f5 and knight e4, white is safe. But it does feel that black is better here. Yeah, the king is exposed, the bishop is strong, outside pass pawn and everything. So I suppose this is what Levy has to do. Oh, there's also the pawn under attack. I didn't even notice. I mean, bishop h7 just feels quite not the right direction. King g7, queen c6 is incoming, and now bishop e4 runs into bishop c5 check, rook e4, f5. No, it's just, I don't think that Levy's even looking at the pawn on h7 at all. No, this is yeah, suicide. You don't take the pawn on h7 ever, ever, ever. Like again, bishop h7 comes with a check, but the king's exposed. Yeah, bishop c5, queen d4. You want to close the diagonal, you get the check. You can't go here, you go here. And there's, oh wait, yeah, there's lights out. You can't do it, you simply cannot do it. There's no bishop g2, that's mate on the board. So bishop h7, you just cross it out instantly. So take it, bishop c5 check. I'm probably here, I'm probably here. Looks scary, but I don't see how black can get the rook on h5. I don't think that he has anything else. Now, Levy's not thinking about taking the pawn. He is just, I think what happened here is he missed c4. It's a very unpleasant feeling, you know, when you realize you're worse. So he realized about here. He played e4. He was very optimistic about the idea. And now here he realized, oh, I'm worse. So the point is bishop e4, knight e4, bishop g7, f5, bishop d4, etc. So he calmed down, calculated this position for a good 10-15 minutes. He found a solution, and I think he missed c4. So that's why it's a very big blow to your psychological confidence. When you're already in trouble, and you still miss more. That is very unpleasant. And again, calm down. This is a very serious test to Levy. And I think it's good. I think it's good it's happening on the very first round. This means he will be immediately in the tournament. Because you might remember how it started in Spilimbergo. In this tournament in Italy a couple of weeks ago, Levy got a very easy victory in round one. He won the tournament, he won the game like in 1 hour or so. And then he was struggling because he was not finding the rhythm. So even if he is in some trouble in the first game, it's good. I mean, as long as he saves the game, of course. You know? So if he's going to work it out and he's going to get the draw, all is good. All is good. You want to be a GM? You have to defend worse positions. You simply have to. Yeah, knight a4 is terrible. Why are you guys even suggesting this? Knight a4, queen d4 check, you drop the bishop. You have to kill this bishop here quickly. You have to get it away. You have to take on b7, queen b7, and now, for example, play something like knight e4. Have to protect the king. Or most likely here he's looking at this line here, bishop c5, king g2, queen b7. You gotta go forward. You cannot play knight e4, it just walks into a pin. This is terrible. So you gotta play bishop b7, bishop c5, king g2, queen b7, king h3, c takes, a takes most likely, queen d7, queen c6. There's nothing better. There's nothing better here. Probably black could play something like rook d8, go for domination. You play queen f5 at some point. Sack the pawn on d2, play knight e4. The position is still salvageable. Would I survive this? I would definitely be feeling under a lot of stress. And Levy is feeling a lot of stress right now. So I think it's a good idea just to say, keep faith. This is part of the road. It's also a very nice wake-up call. Start the tournament. Right, but you gotta make a move. You don't really want to fall behind on the clock too much. You gotta work it out. I mean, still, this is a position where you are quite vulnerable. Yeah, the hardest thing is forgetting what happened before. The clock is still not a problem. He still has healthy 50 minutes. Right now, it's very important to survive the next couple of moves. Let me see what you're writing there. I mean, from time to time I do check what you are writing. Maybe you have some interesting questions, I can always provide some answers. I was saying in my first lesson that I like a hard first round. Really? I said that in the first lesson? But it's good. It's good to have a very serious test in the first round. The increment is plus 30 seconds per every made move. Yep, mental reset is necessary here. He's getting there. King f2 feels very risky. You don't want to expose your king more than you have to. You have to trade the bishop and put the king on h3. That's the only idea I can think of. Levy is gonna get there out of lack of alternatives. There's no alternative. Taking on h7 is not alternative. King g2 is not alternative. There's no alternative here. Trade the bishops. Maybe drop a pawn somewhere. And bring the king to the safety. Alright, well, Levy is thinking about his choices. I'll make a very short break, be back in a minute. All right, Levy, come on. You gotta make a move. Gotta move. 11 minutes. Levy under very serious pressure here. Yeah, the clock situation requires a bit faster thinking here. I think he simply doesn't like this position after bishop b7, bishop c5, king g2, queen b7, king h3. He doesn't like this position. He's maybe afraid of some queen f3 or something. But what choice do you have? You really don't have any choice here. You gotta move here. Maybe queen d7, king goes here. It looks scary. The king is weak. The queen is disconnected. Yeah, Levy senses that this is a critical moment. As Catherine LeBron writes on YouTube, I agree, yes. But again, you don't really want to burn too much time. Oleski doesn't see the idea of king h3. I find it very hard to believe. There you go. He's about to make a move. Come on, Levy. Just grab the bishop. He's not sure. Yeah, so he raised the cat. He's about to make a move. This is like you're double checking yourself. Bishop b7 is on the board. Good. Everything is good. There you go. Only move engine marks. Now here, bishop c5 is an important intermezzo check because this would not allow white to activate the knight. So, for example, if you play queen b7, white is just in time to play knight e4, activate the knight, there's no bishop c5, and also knight f6 is a big threat. So that's why here it's very important for black to do this in-between check, bishop c5. And now after king g2, now this is a check. You're gonna play knight e4, that's a pin. You're gonna play rook e4, that's a pin. So the only move, if you don't want to lose on the spot, is king h3. We are heading there. There's no chance that Kambrakolov is not gonna play bishop c5. He's well aware of the importance of this intermezzo move. Can he still win? There's a question on YouTube. First things first, he has to survive. He has to normalize the position, limit the damage, then see what happens. Right now, he shouldn't be even thinking about the victory here. Why not king f1? Bishop c5, king f1 is incredibly risky because you're running into some queen f3, queen h1 ideas. I quite do not see what you want to do next. Maybe actually there's knight e4. But it just feels so dangerous. You take on c5, queen h1 is almost like a mate. Knight f6, king h8. You win the rook, which feels to be great, but not really that great when you get checkmated. Yeah, that's why this bishop c5, king f1, I think it's a mistake. So queen b7, this is a check, threatening here. You have to somehow cover this long diagonal. Rook e4 makes no sense, there's a 5. So knight e4, still a 5. Maybe this is somehow... Wait, what was the line here? Knight d4. What was the line? f5 is knight c5. Check here, check here. Maybe it's actually okay. Knight d4, but I mean, this diagonal looks so scary. I mean, if you ask me, I don't see anything concrete after king f1, but I think king h3 is feeling more secure. The king on h3 is feeling better. And there goes the video. Why is it doing this? Second. All right. There's a question in Latvian language. How does it feel to do the commentary at 5 a.m. in the morning? Correction, 5:01 in the morning. It's a big difference. It's great. I never sleep. How much coffee do I drink? Non-stop. Non-stop coffee. 5:01 in Greece as well. Lagging behind, it's 5:02 here in Riga. All right, time for Kamrakolov to make a mistake. I mean, he's been playing pretty good chess so far. So Jurabek, do not let us down. Do your part. Make a mistake. Make a mistake somewhere. So he could make a mistake by taking on b7. By not giving the intermezzo check. I don't think it's going to happen. Queen d4 check makes no sense because this would leave the bishop unattended. Rook e1 check intermezzo move makes no sense because it gives away the e file. So it's gotta be bishop c5. So we have still quite a lot of Europeans, don't we now? Wow. Yeah, I just read from the comments, so many Europeans are watching this. Even at 4 a.m. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You have my greatest respect. I mean, I have no choice. I have to do the commentary. 3 a.m. Amazing. Yeah. I see a lot of people at 4 a.m., etc. Actually, the sun is gonna go up pretty soon, I think. The viewers, do you think Levy is gonna pull it off? Is he going to survive this game? What do you think? I think he is. I believe in him. No? What? So many non-believers. Oh, come on, guys. Keep some faith. Everything is going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. By the way, I think that also you look at the body language of Levy, he looks a bit more relaxed. Yeah, these are the tough moments when you're feeling a lot of heat, a lot of stress. You work it out, you calm down, you sit there for like 5-10 minutes more. You get used to the new situation. You're like, okay, I'm not lost. No, I'm not lost. Maybe it's not so bad actually. and then you calm down. Yeah, Jurabek is not playing yet. Actually, I find it to be quite surprising that he has not yet played Queen Bishop C5 check. And in New York City right now, it's... What time is it in New York? It's 10 p.m. Is it? No, wait. 10 p.m. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. 10 p.m. Nothing like 5 a.m. in Riga. Yes, it's tough. 10 p.m. Yeah, it's tough. You know, the next rounds, they're gonna start 1 hour earlier. So tomorrow, the next game. What tomorrow? It's already today for me as a European. Let me tell you when's gonna be the next game. It's gonna start at 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. And I think for the Eastern Standard Time, it's, what was it? 11 a.m.? Let me check it. Or 12. No, 12. 12 p.m. 12 p.m. So tomorrow, the late round is going to start 1 hour earlier. It's only going to be 1 a.m. here, not 2 a.m. like today. All right, Bishop C5 check is played. By the way, I see it on the video, but I don't see it yet by moves. I think I'll have to adjust the video again. No, Bishop C5 was to be expected. This was not a surprise. This was not a surprise. Yeah, there you go. There's Bishop C5. Let me try to adjust. There you go. Bishop C5 engine marks as a great move, and this is usually the engine telling you this is strictly the only move to give black the advantage. Just play King G2 here. No need to burn any more time. So, is Levy really undecided here where to put a king? He already should have made up his mind. No need to double guess your choices. Double question everything. Again, I'm a bit concerned about King F1, Queen B7, Knight E4. I'm concerned about this diagonal. It just feels so risky. But then again, it's very concrete, right? Yeah, I have obviously the spoiler of an engine. Engine says there's something very concrete. I don't really see what it is. Let me try to guess. Maybe some rook e6. No, not rook e6. I wanted to play f5. f5 was knight c5. I can't already check this. And maybe, actually bishop d4 makes sense to play f5. Queen c4 drops the knight. B takes f5. Knight f2. Queen f3. Is it queen f3? d3. I quite do not see, by the way, where's the move that finishes the game. But you know, that's why you have the gut feeling. You just don't calculate everything. You just have a gut feeling. Don't go there. It feels risky. King h3 is safer. Let me go king h3. I don't like that Levy has not yet decided this. There you go. He plays king g2. Okay. Everything is good. Everything is good. So he was just making sure that king f1 is not the move. But again, he should have worked it out already here. About here. He was expecting bishop c5. He should have like made up already the mind where he's gonna go. Another 5 minutes gone. That's what I don't like it. Alright, queen b7 is played. Only move king h3. There you go. I saw this position already half an hour ago. Now we are here. Most likely there's going to be c takes on b3, a takes on b3, and the question is how Jurabek plans to advance. It would be pretty fantastic if he would force a draw with queen d7, queen c6, queen d7. And maybe there's a chance that this is going to happen if Kamarakolov here is going to spend something like 50 minutes trying to figure out where's his big advantage. He's not going to find it, and then he's going to settle for a draw. Queen d7, king h3, queen d7, queen c6, queen d7, queen c6, and just a draw. GM draw. Now, I think what we want to do, we want Kamarakolov to spend a lot of time on this position. Like at least 10 minutes. If Kamarakolov spends here 10 minutes, I think Levy is much closer to the draw. So again, let's try to work it out. Once again, c takes, a takes. Yeah, the pawn is under attack, so you trade it. Queen f3 is nothing. I mean, it's nothing. You always allow queen f5. So I think what Kamarakolov is going to do, he's not going to allow the white queen to get on f5. So queen d7 check. f5 is just not good. I mean, it weakens the e5 squared. The queen is also now shut off, so it's got to be king g2. Now what? Maybe play f5. Yeah, actually this move looks really good. How do you defend? How do you get the queen on f3 somewhere? Maybe go here. It's quite not right. I mean, f5 is a nice move because it takes away the e4 square. And the problem is this queen is so awkwardly positioned. If this knight was on f3, for example, this would be completely equal position. The king is a bit weak. Also, it enables queen c6, rook e6, rook h6. By the way. So f5 is totally findable. Maybe trade the rooks. But you're gonna put the other rook on e1. Yeah, this looks so bad. Probably a mate somewhere, I don't know. Where exactly, like this? So once again, I think it's queen d7, king g2. I'm not sure about c takes, a takes, how important is this? Takes, and f5. Combrocco plays queen d7. Maybe Levy then has to play f5. Because this idea for black looks pretty annoying, it limits the knight. So play f5. Maybe that's a necessary move, actually. I kind of disregarded it, but now that I see black's idea of f5 looks so scary. I mean, this is a very big problem. King g2, f5. The big idea is queen c6, rook e6, rook h6. I'm just, of course, I mean, I include the pawn trade. Takes, f5. f5 is on the board, by the way. All right. So he cannot yet put an knight on e4 because it drops the pawn. This trade is going to happen at some point. This is the critical moment of the game. This is it. Very important not to make any more mistakes. I think that what Kambraklov is going to do, he's going to take on b3 and play something like bishop d4. Just because he's centralizing the bishop, putting on e5 somewhere, protecting the pawn just in case. Or maybe he's going to include some rook d8 first, like hit the pawn, ask some questions. There could be a trade, rook e8, and rook f1 with knight e4. No, actually white feels pretty much safe here. Knight e4, d3. If Levy gets this, he's okay. The knight on e4 shelters everything. So c takes, a takes is on the board. Bishop d4 makes sense to me. Levy could play, I don't know, knight e4 again, I cannot do it. Maybe get a queen here. Queen d3, can I do that? No, I think he's safe. I don't see any real problems. Objectively, he's worse. Okay, rook d8 is played, but now rook e8. Rook e8, rook f1. So take it. Something like queen e8. Yeah, but queen e8 you just play knight e4. Queen e5. A rook f1. No. Here Levy is completely safe. And also after rook e8, you still gonna play knight e4 because the pawn is under attack, you play rook f1. So knight e4 is incoming. Maybe he plays for domination, like queen goes here, but you just play rook f4. I think rook d8 is an accuracy. So could it be that Kambraklov just made the first mistake? Not a big mistake, but a small inaccuracy. And you know, Kambraklov is too experienced. You can even read with his body language. I mean, he knows he's better, but you've been in these situations so many times that it's simply not enough. It's just not enough. Rook e8 is played immediately by Levy. So I think he already has figured out. Rook f1, knight e4, d3, brick wall, and hold on. Rook e8 is played, so rook f1. I think it's a very important move here to enable knight e4. d3, rook f3. If Levy gets this position, he's never gonna lose this. Rook f1 is on the board. He's not gonna lose this. You know, one of the things, the viewers, you have to understand, and this is far more important than the engine evaluation, is the ability to see your next moves. I see the next moves for Levy very clearly. They are knight e4, d3, rook f3. Compared to the position a couple of moves ago when he was suffering, it was very difficult to find these moves. And now he sees these moves. So he has managed to limit the damage, normalize the position, and then see what happens. I would say that draw is a pretty likely outcome of this game, and you can see Kamrakolov, yeah, he knows. He knows that there's not a lot. Maybe he suspects, oh, did I just play a mistake with rook d8? Could it be? Well, whatever. I would be not surprised if this game would finish in a draw in the next 10 minutes. I've seen this so many times. You have an advantage, you let it slip, you think for 10 minutes, you make the most active move, you offer a draw. It just happens so many times. The body language is right now in the favor of Levy. Levy looks much more composed right now. Kamrakolov is like, whatever, I had something here, now it's gone. What can I do? Okay, whatever, let's call it a day, right? We'll see. We'll see how the game is going to finish. Yeah, by the way, thank you guys for your positive comments. I don't have a chance to address every single comment. Bishop d4 is played, the most active move. Knight e4 should be played pretty quickly here. No need to burn time. Knight e4, d3, and then work things out. I mean, Levy's still slightly worse. And maybe Jurabek is going to push because of this outside pass pawn. It just feels so slow, like knight d3, queen d3, some knight f6 ideas. I think this is a very easy move. So let's see what Levy does. Levy has not yet made a move. Queen d3. Okay, queen d3 is also a move, hitting the pawn, pinning the knight. Levy is completely safe here. Nice move. I told you he is gonna do it. This is Levy 2-0. He's no longer the same guy 2 years ago who would crumble under the first pressure. If you want to be a GM, you have to handle the pressure, and he's doing it. He's doing it right now. He's handling the pressure. Okay, maybe not from the spectator's point of view, this was the most beautiful game, but it's a fighting game. It has a lot of psychology. And sometimes such games do feel like a small victory. By the way, there's also knight e2 threat, knight e2 rook f4. By the way, the bishop here is pinned. Let's not forget this minor little detail that black needs to be careful not to blunder the bishop. It's not about the pawn on a6. So bishop d4 was another inaccuracy. So what happened here Kamrakalov made a small inaccuracy. He played rook d8 inaccuracy, and he played bishop d4 inaccuracy. And now, suddenly white is pretty safe. So what do you do if you're a GM? You feel that this position is slipping out of your hands? You offer a draw. That's what you do. Of course, Levy might get very ambitious and not accept. I don't know. I suppose it really depends what black is gonna do. Rook d8 something, I don't know, but pawn on a6 is under attack. It would be really great for Kamrakalov here to spend something like 6-7 minutes on the next move. Rook d8 is the only move. There's a suggestion in the chat, yeah, but it drops the pawn on a6, right? I mean, rook d8, I mean, I'm gonna take the pawn on a6. There is no risk for Levy. None at all. How is rook d8 the only move? Maybe something like b5 makes more sense, but what about this knight here? I mean, this bishop being pinned. What about some knight e4 ideas? What about some rook f4 ideas? Rook f4, rook d8. No, I think b5 has got to happen. b5 will be played. All right. Levy senses that he's back in the game. I mean, you can easily read it from the body language. Look at this. How differently they're sitting, right? You can very often tell who is psychologically doing better. Levy's much more focused. He feels he was in trouble. He's pretty happy with himself that he managed to solve the problems. He is happy with himself. He's unhappy the way he played it, but he's happy how he solved the problems. And now Kamrakalov is like, meh. I should just make a draw. So what happens after b5? So b5? Let's see, there was a move? No, there was no move. So b5. What do you do? What do you do? Queen of 3 maybe? Is this a move? Threaten some knight e5 ideas. Or what do you do after b5? Ah, wait, I'm forgetting knight e2. Sorry, my bad. a5 is played. Not b5. What does it change? How about knight b5 here? Rook d8. I mean, I don't know if I want to trade this. Takes, black is slightly better. There's some weaknesses. But what I really like is my knight on b5. And the video goes kaput. Why does it go kaput again? Ah. Maybe it's gonna reload. There we go. So, knight b5, rook d8. Now what? I want to activate my rook. Like this. Bishop c5. Trade. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. d4. You're gonna take it. It's rook d1. Oops. So I think a5 is a small inaccuracy. So now b5. Rook d8. Let me refresh just a second. Let me refresh this thing. Sorry, guys. Second. Ah. That's a terrible spoiler. So, where was this? Yeah, I was suggesting. Why the video keeps loading? So knight b5, rook d8, and play something like something. No, the game continues. I just saw more moves being played because I have to scroll back the video. And rook here. So rook c1, if you go bishop c5, this was the idea. Takes, and play d4. And white is slightly better. Bishop b4, maybe rook d5 is incoming. What is happening with the video? Just a second. Oh man. Yeah, it just keeps loading. Yeah, Levy is burning a bit too much time here. I think this knight b5 is a very easy move. What's happening with his internet connection? I don't understand because he's streaming from New York City. It should be flawless connection, no? Rook f4. Rook f4. Rook d8 is the only move. Now rook f4 is a really weird move. I thought you need to exploit the b5 square. Yeah, the camera is kaput at the moment. That's why I was wondering why a5, why not b5, because b5 made more sense to limit the knight, right? So I think actually here Jurabek gave Levy some chances to play knight b5, attack the bishop, and after rook d8, okay, you couldn't take here, but you could just try to activate your rook, something like your rook goes here. And threaten with maybe double trade and rook c6 or rook c7, by the way. It's weird that he decided to play rook f4 and rook d8, yeah. Let me refresh again. No! Oh man, that was bad. Oh wow, this I didn't want to see. No, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Apparently he misplayed something. What happened there? I don't understand. It's like he was completely in control. I'm missing a move, right? No, I'm not missing a move. Rook g4 check. All right. I mean, there's no need to hide it. I mean, I saw already the result. Levy lost. What we are following the moves with the delay, and I just saw the final position that he lost. I'm just, yeah, it's a bit silly. Yeah, so apparently I think what happened is that he got in a timed scramble. That is so weird because he was like in complete control here. He played rook f1, he played queen d3 here, right? I mean, how did he lose this? This rook f4, rook g4, this is what he just played. We're getting the moves with the delay. Let me just get the actual. Oh, now it's finished. Oh man. Sorry for the spoiler. But you saw all of it. Yeah, unfortunately we already saw the live video. There's nothing I can do about it. Maybe for the next rounds, Levy's gonna try to find a way to improve the video feed. Yeah, this rook f4, rook g4, it just felt not good. Just not good. Yeah, it's unfortunate, what can I say? Weird, right? That he decided not to play for knight b5. Knight b5, rook d8. The knight belongs on b5. Activate the rook. Something like rook c1. Activate the rook. And if he had got to this position, who knows? Maybe he would have even pushed for something else. Activate the king. King goes here. These pawns are not going anywhere. This rook f4, rook g4, I can't explain. All right, but then let's watch and see how it happened. So black played king f8. Yes, of course, we're going to continue working with Kim, right? So nothing dramatic happens. By the way, since his return to competitive chess, Levy has lost 2 games. One of them was in Madrid. He lost with the black color against the eventual tournament winner. The second game he lost in Spillenberg Open a couple of weeks ago in Italy. He was playing with black. against underrated Indian player. There was this crazy resource. Bishop takes on h4. He had to find like in 4 minutes. Crazy game. But he didn't find it. He lost the game. And now this. By the way, first loss with white. But again, nothing dramatic has happened. This is only the start of the tournament. So, indeed, he still needs 7 points out of 8. Not going to be easy, especially if you start with white and you lose. But, yeah, there you go. There's another mistake. He's gonna bounce back. He is gonna bounce back. Yes, the first loss with white since his return. Exactly. Sorry guys that I spoiled you, but you saw it already on the video. Yeah, I refreshed the video and there it was. So chat already was writing it, so it is what it is. But you know, I think it's still important that you support him also when he is going through his losses. And I think this is what he needs right now. To hear some good words from you after the game. Everything is good. So keep fighting. Losses like these, they happen from time to time. And it's going to be a longer road. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit still puzzled what happened here because it already felt that he was out of the trouble, and I suspect what happened is that Levy relaxed a bit. Like he felt that he is safe, and then this weird rook f4, rook g4, I just can't explain what was the idea of this maneuver, and then combined with the time scramble, it's a bad combination. Yeah, by the way, Black played a really great game. Yeah, bishop e5. Now the pawn on d2 is under attack. Let's just see. How the game actually finished, because I don't know the moves. We already know the game is finished. Yes, we already know that. Yeah, so here we see. Okay, I'm not gonna sync the video anymore. It doesn't really matter. So speaking about the upcoming schedule. So he starts with a loss. It's bad. Yes, it's not great, but it's also not the end of the world. So the next round will be. When is it? So how should I say it? European time. Tomorrow? No, today. So it's going to be 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. 6 p.m. Or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be the start of the round 2. And the next day will be 2 games. So Eastern Standard Time, it's going to be 12 and 6 p.m. And for Europeans, it's going to be 6 p.m. and midnight, I think. How many hours from now? There was a question. Oh, let me try to calculate. 12? 12 hours and 15 minutes? No, sorry, 12 hours and 15 minutes and 23 seconds. Yeah, there you go. You see the position just deteriorates. This is what I saw on the camera when I first refreshed the video feed. I saw this. I was like, uh-oh, the black queen is on d3. How did that happen? All right. So cheer up. Everything is good. Everything is good. By the way, as most of you already know, this is just one tournament, only the first round. Levy is definitely going to bounce back. We're going to work and try to figure out what kind of lessons we can take away from this loss. I mean, we should, obviously. And as you are aware, there's yet another event scheduled for Levy, which is end of October, the match, which actually is going to be a mix of time controls, classical, rapid, and blitz against the Swedish chess legend Pia Crumling. Yeah, there's H5. Yeah, the video is delayed as well, but okay, whatever. Let's just wait and see how did this game finish. Rook H4, yeah, black is completely dominating the position now. Queen on D3 is incredibly powerful. The rook on H4 is disconnected. I think there was some rook D4 or something. Some mate ideas on F1, rook D4, etc. Yeah, rook D4 was played. Yeah. And there's Kikar in the chat. Rook D4 and adios amigo. Yeah. It is what it is. Rook E4, just collect the knight. We already know the result. We saw it. We already know. Right. Okay, let me see if I can adjust the video. Yeah, rook E4. And that's it. As soon as I start adjusting the video starts buffering. And this is probably pretty close to the syncing the video with the game. Yeah, rook H5 didn't really change much. God, now I will get my deserved sleep. Yeah, so does Levy. Will get his deserved sleep as well. By the way, he just texted me. He is pretty positive. That's what you should know. Levy remains positive. King G7. Couple of moves are played. So after King G7, there's no more checks. The queen cannot jump to H6. I mean, this is one of those positions where you'd love to remove the pawn on D2, play queen H6, and yeah, I won the game. Not gonna happen. Yeah, that's also officially the end of the game as we are getting the official result. As I already said, I kind of knew it. There was the handshake in a moment, and that's it. All right. So, what we are going to do, we are going to take a rest. Definitely. Because here in Riga, it's almost 6 a.m. In New York, it's close to midnight. So Levy had to play a very long game. The game started at 7 p.m. and now it's almost midnight in New York City. So he starts with a loss. There you go. There you can see it on the camera. But everything is good. The tournament still continues, obviously. Not the kind of start we were hoping for, naturally. It already felt a couple of moves ago that Levy was solving the opening problems. He managed to improve his position. And about here, I don't know what happened. Why he decided to go for rook f4, rook g4, which is pretty obviously not working. Why not knight b5, hit the bishop, activate the rook. Remains to be seen, but Levy is going to fight back. That's all I have to say about this, and I would like to thank everybody who was watching this. Sorry that I cannot deliver you better news today. So Levy suffers the first loss with the white collar since his return to competitive chess. His third loss out of something like 30 games, so it's still not terrible, but not a good start, obviously, in the hunt for the GM norm. So I'm saying goodbye to you, and I'll be back. Let me tell you precisely again at 6 p.m. Central European Summertime or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time following round 2. Levy is going to play this time with the black color. Let me tell you against who. He's going to play against James Chirillov, a young player from United States. So I wish all of you have a good sleep. I think most of us, we have to go to sleep now. Somebody has to make a breakfast already, I don't know. So keep positive thinking, and thank you for being so amazing today. I'm signing off. I'm Grandmaster Out of Nations. I've been coaching Levy for the past couple of months. Let's stay together even in losses as well. And have a great day. Come back for the next round. Take care.